Hey guys, Level Cap here, and this week in gaming, Battlefield, Halo, and Nintendo had big E3 reveals, Hell Let Loose got a console release window, Metal Gear Solid's creator might be making his Silent Hill game after all, and much more. E3 wasn't the blockbuster event it typically is this year. Most developers and publishers opted to host their own online events, and boy did they deliver. Summer Game Fest kicked things off with the Battlefield 2042 gameplay trailer and Elden Ring release date announcement. DICE followed up the Battlefield gameplay trailer with a special stream recapping the first week following the game's official reveal. They covered some additional topics fans have been curious about. AI soldiers will be available in solo, co-op, and multiplayer modes. They'll fill in empty slots on standard multiplayer servers to keep matches flowing as intended. This is huge for hardcore fans of the franchise and folks in low population regions. DICE also confirmed all the specialists will be able to equip any weapon, equipment, and throwable. That includes med and ammo supply crates, which weren't seen in the gameplay trailer. The hype surrounding Battlefield 2042 is real. The gameplay trailer was the most watched trailer of E3. It's so big, in fact, that DICE had to add more servers to Battlefield 4 to keep up with the wave of returning players. Microsoft also rolled out the red carpet for Halo Infinite's multiplayer. They announced that it'll be a free-to-play title launching alongside Infinite's paid campaign experience this holiday season. The multiplayer looks like a return to form for the franchise. It'll offer classic modes like big team battle, in-depth character customization, some new mechanics like incremental vehicle damage, and a battle pass that never expires. And this is very much unlike most live service titles. Infinite's seasonal battle passes will remain on sale after a new one releases. Players can purchase old battle passes and choose which one their progression counts towards. It sounds like a good compromise between offering all the extra content for free and charging players for it. That said, the base game will have tons of unlocks and rewards as well. Nintendo also gave us a look at Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, which is the first time we've seen the game in over 2 years. The trailer briefly covered the game's new sky-based areas. Nintendo confirmed that they'll be hoping to launch the sequel next year. Ubisoft finally announced a release date for Rainbow Six Siege Extraction, the zombie survival spin-off from Siege's Outbreak mode. Ubisoft originally announced the extraction as Rainbow Six Quarantine back in 2019. The game was renamed Extraction to kind of distance itself from the real-world pandemic. It's launching on September 16th for all platforms. It supports a 3-player co-op and looks a lot like a more objective-oriented version of Left 4 Dead, plus the typical abilities and gadgets from Siege. Overall, it's unclear how well Extraction fared compared to the rest of E3's reveals. It is great to finally get a release date for the game, but it's facing stiff competition from Back 4 Blood, which launches the following month. Indie developers rounded out E3 with some big reveals of their own. Dusk publisher New Blood Interactive released new gameplay of their upcoming immersive sim, Gloomwood. It's inspired by the classic Thief franchise and looks quite interesting. The developer also revealed gameplay for their hard-boiled detective brawler, Fallen Aces. And finally, New Blood revealed a VR port of their fantasy FPS Amid Evil. That game is getting a DLC expansion and recently got an update that adds ray tracing. World War II tactical FPS Hell Let Loose is leaving early access and launching on next-gen consoles this year. On PC, it leaves early access on July 27th. It'll launch for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles sometime after that. Hell Let Loose has improved dramatically over its early access period and took off last year thanks to new content and performance improvements. It'll be a great fit on consoles for players that enjoy more hardcore tactical games. GTA Online is shutting down for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. It'll go offline on December 16th. Rockstar says they're taking the game offline to focus support on current and last-gen hardware more. The legacy platforms probably weren't booming in popularity, but considering GTA 5 sold 145 million copies, there's probably tens of thousands of people still playing the older consoles. Cyberpunk 2077 is returning to the PlayStation Store on Monday. Sony delisted it because of the mass refunds during the game's launch. Since then, the developers have released several significant updates that have improved the game in key areas. But it's still a ways off from being the polished experience players were sold on. Cyberpunk's most recent update launched a few days ago and fixes several progress blocking quest bugs. It also includes some performance and stability improvements. Sci-fi FPS hack/and shooter Bright Memory Infinite got a new gameplay trailer that looks incredible. Bright Memory originally launched on Steam and Xbox Series consoles last year. Infinite takes things up a notch with new bosses and mechanics. It'll launch on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series consoles sometime this year. Classic MMO RuneScape is now available on iOS and Android. It was available in early access on mobile devices for existing players since October 2018, but it wasn't widely available until the following year. This week's official launch removes the cap on global players, letting anyone download the game and play. PUBG's next map, Taego, launches on July 7th. The teaser trailer announcing the release date only offers a brief glimpse at the map, but the developers have released detailed screenshots showcasing a handful of locations. In general, the map looks similar to Erangel as far as building types and terrain go. It's also a pretty decent bump up in terms of visual quality compared to Erangel. Taego will be available on PC test servers from the 30th. It launches on console a week after PC on July 15th. Microsoft are revealing the next major update of Windows on the 24th. Unfortunately for them, an early build of the OS leaked online as a downloadable and installable ISO file. The tech outlets have been using this leaked build to preview Microsoft's plans for Windows. The build refers to the update as Windows 11. So far, the majority of the changes appear to be cosmetic. The start menu has been overhauled with a cleaner and more simplified layout. It's also centered by default, though you can put it back on the left side of the screen if you want. The real question for gamers is, will it offer any performance improvements for gaming? Windows 10 added support for DirectX 12, which is Microsoft's updated DirectX API. It gives supported games more direct access to your PC's hardware, boosting performance, reducing latency, and ensuring a more consistent experience in general. The leaked build of Windows 11 requires jumping through hoops to get games running, but there doesn't seem to be any significant performance improvements. The mysterious horror game Abandoned is getting a proper reveal on Tuesday. It got a teaser back in April that showcased some very realistic looking forest environments, a character walking, and a campfire. Speculation has run wild that the game is actually a Silent Hill title being developed by Death Stranding and Metal Gear Solid creator Hideo Kojima. A conspiracy has been pieced together by fans of Kojima's work. He famously used a pseudonym and fake company to tease the reveal of Metal Gear 5 and Silent Hills. The conspiracy is very well documented and interesting. Kojima was developing Silent Hills before being fired by Konami. That game got an infamous playable demo exclusive on the PlayStation 4 that has been picked apart and recreated by several fans hoping to preserve its legacy. Basically, Silent Hill fans were very excited for Kojima's game and were devastated by its cancellation. Hopefully, the reveal of Abandoned's gameplay and actual title next week lives up to the intrigue surrounding it. Before we get to our final story today, thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll be back with our daily gaming news coverage on Monday. In the meantime, let us know what you thought of this week's stories in the comments. Was E3 major hype or a general bust for you? Valorant's next agent will be a robot named KO. He's focused on classic FPS utility like flashbangs, frag grenades, and has an ultimate ability that lets players revive him. KO will be added to the game with the Episode 3 update dropping on the 22nd. And alongside KO's introduction, the update will also make sweeping changes to nearly every agent in the game. Ability costs for all agents have been tweaked up or down to rebalance the game's economy. Almost every weapon in the game has also had its price changed. Most of them will be cheaper, except the Judge shotgun, which has increased by 200 points. The caveat to all of these changes I'm mentioning is that they haven't been officially announced. They were discovered in a recent update for Valorant and might not be entirely up to date. And that wraps it up for This Week in Gaming. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.